by Design. I'm glad you could join me for another Throwback Thursday. If this is your first encounter with Throwback Thursday, it's a little series that I do where I reach back into my stash of older, beautiful products and use them to make something new and fresh. Today, we're working with Memory Place Floral Tapestry. This is a super vintagey floral collection. I had used it to make a folio kit for Button Farm Club, and I had really just a few little snips and snaps of paper left over, but I managed to find enough to put together this little 5x7 card folio with a tag and pocket combo on the front. So this little tag pulls out. These are Rene Bouquet butterflies and Rene Bouquet flowers, really reasonable ribbon. And then there's a little card inside here, and I've got some hot glue on there that says, hot off the press, you guys, celebrate life. So this would be great for a birthday, an anniversary, just the thinking of you, friendship. And then this goes in here. This is also Rene Bouquet's. This is some of her beautiful board that I've heat embossed, and we'll talk about that more in the tutorial. But you can see this is a very, very simple front. I had just this one piece of this floral border and then a few little other bits and bobs, and I managed to put this card together. So this tucks into this little pocket, just like that. On the spine, I did wrap it. I ended up wrapping it with gold string. It'll settle down here in a little bit. It tends to be very springy because it's just come off the spool, but I've added on some little bee charms and a little Tim Holtz token that says wish. And then on the inside, I've got a honey stick, a little tea bag, a little tuck spot with a little note card. This would be a great place to add a gift card. This could be a really good get well card. This could be an anniversary card. It could be, you know, just a thinking of you. So that is the project. Stick around and we'll do the tutorial in just a minute. All right, we're going to start putting this little card together. The first thing I did was take an 8.5 by 11 piece of cream cardstock, and I trimmed it to 7.25 by 10.75, and then I scored it at 5.25 and 5.5, and this makes a side fold card. And then on the inside, I've just lined it with some of the papers. This is just a torn edge, and I just wanted to show you this. This was a pretty little edge. I just literally tore it with my fingers, lined it here. This matches this fussy cut, which matches this ephemera piece. And then this was another ephemera piece that I cut out and glued just the bottom, so you can tuck a little note card in there and a little, you can stamp a sentiment on there if you wish. So that's the inside of the card. Let me just put this aside, and now we're going to work on the outside of the card. So the first thing I did was cut this panel of this border print, and I want to say this is 4 7/8, but let me just double check myself. It's 4 7/8 by 6 7/8, and this was a scrap that I had left, so I was working with what I had. This I fussy cut, and I matted this on a slightly larger piece of gold and then on blue, and you can see when this goes on this cream cover, it's going to be very, very pretty. I'll probably ink these edges with my brown ink just very lightly to make everything come together. So that's how that's going to work. Then I stitched this onto the gold. I've got the blue, and I stitched this on so it's like a pocket. Then I took this piece of Rene Bouquet's beautiful board, and I heat embossed this with vintage champagne wow embossing powder. I love this stuff. It's got a really lovely subtle shine, little tiny flecks of gold, but it doesn't shout at you. It's just really subtle. So we're going to put this down in the background, and the easy way to do this is to put a little puddle of your glue in on a dish or a nonstick craft sheet, and then paint it on with a brush. But I didn't prepare that, so now I'm going to have to do it the hard way, but this will still work. And we're going to lift our pocket and we're going to tuck this so that it comes right up in this corner, just like that. Really beautiful. So that's basically it for that part of the cover. We're going to set this aside. And I had a Graphic 45 ivory tag, and I used the matching die. I'm pretty sure you can still get these. And you can see this was a scrap. So I cut a scrap with the top, and then I came in and I cut another scrap with the bottom. And this is going to be a pocket tag, which is kind of a fun thing to do. And we can't go two-dimensional because we have to fit inside that pocket. So we're just going to line this up, and as you can see, I inked the edges with my vintage photo ink. And now we're going to take this guy, and this is where you want to find those little tiny scraps of paper. And in case you haven't done this with me before, I'm just going to show you how to make a gusset. So I've just measured the depth of my pocket, and I'm going to cut this slightly shorter than the depth of my pocket. And I'm going to cut another piece for the bottom. And then these you can just fold in half. And this just makes it easier to fit that tag in that pocket. This is not going to add a lot of bulk. You can use whatever scrap paper you have on hand to do these. I just like this better than straight gluing the pocket on, because when you do that, a lot of times the glue spreads or the score tape, and you find you cannot really load your item into the pocket. So this goes here. This longer piece goes at the bottom, and you want to put the folded edge of your gusset against the open edge of your paper, or the outside edge, however you want to think about that. And then one more. Just like this. And I want to push this up. I don't want this down into that rounded. I don't want that to show. So I'm going to put just a little glue right here, little glue right here to kind of hold those gussets together. And then we're going to add adhesive like this. And this is going to go right at the bottom, just like that. Super easy, right? Okay, and then I just took, this was a 3x4 that I had left after I had made the folio, and I matted this on the gold and the blue, and this will tuck inside this pocket. And I'm being ginger with it because that glue is still setting up, but see, this will sit right in there, and then our pocket will sit right in here. And that's the front of the card. It's very simple, it's very elegant, but it's a really fun way to give a gift. Now, to dress up the top, this is really reasonable ribbon. And this is a, I can't remember the name of this ribbon, but I will link it. In the description, in the supply list on my blog, and then I'll link to my blog. So this is just going to go through here like this, just like that. Just pull it through, and I left the tails long. You can always make them shorter, but it's hard to make them longer. And then come in with your ribbon, and you're going to tie just a simple square knot. Like this. And now we're going to tie a bow. So this is my Zutter Bow It All tool, and many of you have asked me how I do my bows. Well, this is how I do my bows. So I'm moving these posts because I want my bow to be 1, 2, 3 inches. I think is probably good. You start at the back, and I realize you're looking at this upside down, but you're just going to have to hang with me. This is the only way I know how to do this. Start at the back, come around the front, go behind the post on this side, then go behind the post on this side. Come around to the front, go behind the post on this side, go behind the post on this side. Now, you've got an X. Do you see that? Take this left hand one. Sometimes I fold this in half at this point. Bring it around the center. Get it lined up. Now, you're switching hands and you're making a loop and you're pulling that through. And you have to tighten this in stages. So I pull, then I straighten, and I pull. And this ribbon is what I call slippery ribbon. It doesn't hold a knot quite as well as I would like it to, so it makes it a little harder to tie, but you can make it work. Let me get this out of the way. That's what my bow looks like at this point. Not happy with that. I want it pretty and fluffy. So what I do is I bring my tails around to the direction that I want them to go. Now I'm going to put adhesive right on that knot. And I'm going to press this in place. And while I'm holding it in place, I come in with my fingers and I'm doing what I call fussing the bow. And this is putting that fluffy, those beautiful fluffy loops back in place. And that is what makes for a beautiful, beautiful bow on a card or a tag or whatever. And then on the top, I'm just going to fold these in half, cut along the fold. Just put those pretty little tails on there. And like I said, I'm not going to add like anything down here because this has to fit in that pocket. But up here, I've got some really beautiful roses from Renee Bouquets. And this vintage pink has just a touch of brown in it. I thought it was perfect for this tag. So I'm going to put my leaves down. I'm going to come in with this brown blossom in the center, like that. And then I'm going to look for 2 small pink rosebuds. I'm going to loop them together with the wire. I'm going to come in with my adhesive on the wire, and I'm going to tuck them right in here, just like that. If you wanted to add a little charm on this, you could. I'm just holding this in place for everything to set. You can't really put anything along the bottom here. It's just not a good idea. I don't know if you had a little tiny ephemera piece or something you could fussy cut. You could stamp a little greeting, but I'm not really seeing anything that works. So I'm just going to leave this just exactly the way it is. This tucks into this pocket. See how pretty? Now we're going to come over here. We're going to take a little piece of ribbon. This is maybe 2.5 inches. And I just created a tail on it. Now I'm going to take my large pink rose. Put my glue down. I'm not doing a bow down here. You see how simple that is? I just fold it in half. Put my big pink flower right here. Come in with this little brown flower right here. And if I had another brown, that would be so perfect, but instead I'm just going to take these little leaves and I'm going to tuck them in. Trying to figure out where I want these. Just like that. And then maybe this little tiny pink rose. Oops. Just like that. And do you see how I kind of angled that to make it look a little more natural? And then the final piece, these are Rene Bouquet's butterflies. One. Maybe the medium. Yes. So what I do is I just gently bend the wings like this. Not too crazy. And it has little adhesive dots on the back, but I always add just a tiny bit more. And then look, that can go right there. So that is our quick and easy card. Now all you have to do is glue this on the front and you're done. So that's it for me today. Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design, Throwback Thursday. If you would do me the honor of giving this video a like, it really helps grow my channel on YouTube. Otherwise, the algorithms get all weird and nobody finds my channel. And even if you're subscribed, a lot of times they don't let you know that I've posted a new video. So please like this video. If you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe to the channel. I try to do a Throwback Thursday project at least a couple times a month. And now I'm going to clean up my mess and go get my craft on. Bye.